The stairs is going up. Yep, so it's sitting on top of the staircase there. Say you want to close it, all you need to do is just let it drop under its own weight, like so. Today I'm going to be assembling this angled pivoting stair gate. It's a gate that opens up as normal, but it also tilts at the same time because it's got joints that pivot like so. And we've got these little connectors that go through and join everything. The gate is going to kind of like pivot like this. All the pieces will pivot at the same time with all these joints. So it allows you to fold the gate back on top of the angled part, the string part of your staircase. So what we're going to be using today are a set of hinges, 18 by 75 butt hinges. We've got little white washers just made on the 3D printer. You could probably use any washers really. These are only a mil thick. So they're going to go in between to stop paint rubbing on paint. Then we've got all the connectors, 2 of these together. They go together, screw into each other. That will make up to 40 mil, I believe. 2 of these are about 37, 38, so they just about work and hold them together. And then I've got a catch which I designed. Hopefully I'm going to have lots of these bits and pieces for you to make your own one. Got any interest, let me know. Anyway, we've got a catch that works with an angled tilting gate which I made on SketchUp and 3D printed. Tools, I've got 2 screwdrivers. Basically you need 1 screwdriver either side of the connector blocks, and then we've got some thread lock. So when the gate is pivoting up and down all the time in use, these do not work their way loose. So a little dab of thread lock on the threads as I'm putting it all together should stop the gate coming apart in the future. So we've got 2 rails, a bottom and a top, and we've got 6 uprights, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we've got a post. This post is 45 by 70. Made it a little bit long so we can cut it to the angle of the staircase when we get on site. I'll also drill the holes on site where I need to get my fixings. It's going to go like so, and then we're going to just plonk that there, like there, and we're kind of going for that look. So I put the upright that's going right against the post. I'm going for a 50mm margin and 60mm margin for the hinges. Now I'm just going to lightly mark on both. I'll be using 20mm screws for gate side. I'll be using 30mm wood screws for the post side. I'll be using a 3mm drill bit pilot. To make life a little easier, I can just draw the holes, use an awl to very lightly mark the centres. Now pre-drill. We'll do exactly the same for the gates. I think it's easier if I leave the hinges off whilst I assemble the gate. To assemble the gate, I decided to have the rails like so rather than underneath. This is how you're going to see it as you walk into the staircase. Need to make sure that I have my holes in the correct position. The holes for the hinges should be flipped around. They're going to be facing the staircase. So with assembly, it's just a matter of tapping these in to the rails, bottom and top. They're going to be quite tight, but they should go in with a little bit of resistance. Now they're in place, I'm just going to tap them all the way through. My 3D printed washers, they're just going to place over all the holes, like so. And then I've just got to somehow figure out how to get these all in. They should slide in really nicely. The tricky part is just finding the holes. Got it to this stage and they're all holding together quite nicely with a little bit of resistance. Still a little bit fragile, so I need to be careful when I spin it over. Second part of the connectors on. See the hinge holes here. So now for the Loctite, this is the second part of the connector, which is going to screw into the first part, which is in the gate. They're all in there, in those holes, and these are just going to consolidate all the joints. But for now, I need to put a bit of Loctite on the threads to make sure that the threads or the connectors don't come loose. Gate does pivot up and down all the time, constantly. So if I didn't put any of this in, I'm sure the screws will come loose. I'll leave links in the description for everything that I'm using. So I need to put a tiny little dollop on the thread. I think that'll be enough. That'll smudge around the thread, should be fine. Now that's just simply going to go in the hole. Line up to the connector on the other side, hand tight, and thread it in until you feel it lined up. Give it a couple of spins with a screwdriver. Going to do that for the rest. So I've got two screwdrivers, two Phillips screwdrivers for a reason. So I think the best way to do this is just pull the gate out past the bench, and then I can get to the bottom, get to the top, and just feel the resistance on the screws. I'm going to maybe just nip them up to what I feel is tight, and then just back them off a little bit, quarter of a turn. They're too tight. Too much friction on all the connectors will make it so that the gate doesn't pivot at all, and that's the whole idea of the gate. But I do think there's a fine line between being too loose and too tight. Flip it over, do the other side. That should be it. I mean, that's as tight as I think they should be. Let's give it a quick go, see what it feels like. Yeah, that's really nice actually. Perfect amount of resistance there. Just about holds itself. Just about. If I put any more pressure on, it falls down. So what that's going to do is, as the customer's using it, it's going to have a little bit of resistance there. As he or she is lifting it up and down, it's going to take a bit of that load for them. There we go. We've got the post over here. We've got the hinge holes for the post just there. They're on the other side facing that way. So I flip this round like so. I flip this round like so. And that is how it's going to look. So what we'll do is walk the tripod round. Have it from this side now. And effectively all we need to do now is get our hinges, put them on and screw them on. The gate's going to be flush with the post, like so. And a 6 or so mil gap there. Hinge goes on, screwed onto the existing holes. We should be ready to rock and roll and get this fitted. Let's go ahead and fix the hinges on. Everything's been pre-drilled, don't need to worry about that. 30 mils into the post. 2 in for now. And then all we need to do is kind of lift the gate up until the holes line up with the hinges. That should hold it for us. Flip this one over, line up the holes. 2 screws for now. And that should be that. Right guys, so I've rigged it up to the bench. It's ready to go. I'm going to describe how it works, just in case I don't get that on-site footage. But just imagine it's fixed to the wall. The stairs is going up. Yep, it's going up that way. The angle is like so of the staircase, the string. The side pieces of your staircases are called the string. There we go. We'll represent that where it's sitting on the side of the staircase. Remember, this is going to get cut as well. This post is long, so that's going to get cut to suit. So it's sitting on top of the staircase there. Say you want to close it, all you need to do is just let it drop under its own weight like so. And that will clip onto the wall with a catch that I've designed. If you want any details on this, let me know. I may make some plans for these. It's a 2-piece catch that will just sit on like so. And I can clip on and clip into position onto the catch that's going to be fixed to the wall and it can't move. Then that will go up and that will come across and it'll rest on the staircase string and it'll come back down, square up and clip into the catch on the wall. And that is it. That is your gate. It's the first time I've actually tried it. It was all theory to start with, and I'm glad my theory works. This is all MDF, by the way. I feel like MDF is absolutely strong enough, and this is why I fixed my hinges to the faces rather than the edge. I would have had it where the hinges were on the inside in between the gate and the post if this was ply, but I just felt MDF was just absolutely fine and the hinges look fine from this side. Let's have a look from this side. So like I mentioned, the hinges are fixed to the face. I don't think it's a bad thing, and it's going to hook onto the wall like so, and onto the wall. It will catch like that. Yeah, so that's it. You walk up to the staircase, you lift it up, you walk up the staircase, you rest that on the side, you drop it down onto the staircase string, and you leave it. When you're coming back down, you have it like this, and you let it drop, and you let it drop onto the catch, like so. Happy days. Happy with that?